Welcome back to the Holistic Homes Podcast. I'm Christine, licensed general contractor here in Southern California and holistic construction consultant nationwide, helping you build a healthier home. And this is a good episode today. This is all the rage. I see this topic brought up all across Instagram, predominantly in luxury builds that are 10,000 plus square feet. Today is all about wellness rooms. We have gone away from just the old dusty gym in the basement, and homes are now wanting full-blown wellness centers, typically attached to the home or a detached structure completely outside near a pool, but they are awesome. But I want to share with you how you can create these as true wellness rooms, not just these green knockoff versions that I'm seeing all over social media. So let's talk about how you can integrate true wellness and creating a mold safe, healthy, indoor air quality focused wellness room, whether it's a smaller space or if we're talking about blowing this out with everything from a gym, cold plunge, infrared sauna, steam shower, massage room, red light therapy, you name it. Like, there is a place for a wellness room somewhere in your luxury build. So on the topic of where to really prioritize in creating like a healthier space, I also want to share some of the areas that I've seen just not implemented really well. Because the focus in creating these wellness spaces is wellness. So it would only make sense to actually thoroughly consider the wellness aspect of each element. So let's talk about the gyms first. And these can be smaller spaces, larger spaces. They're all still going to have similar principles. But for the gym and really the wellness space as a whole, it's really important to think through this in the planning stage. That's really where a lot of this comes together, in the architectural planning stage of where is this wellness center going to be located? Specifically, is it going to be located in the basement? Maybe this is a walkout basement, or is this going to be integrated as a part of a wing to the home that's on a concrete foundation? We need to know where it's going to go. And ideally, it's going to be placed somewhere that is not on a second or third level that's got a plywood or OSB subfloor. One, structurally, that's gonna take a feat, but also two, we really want to be working with a solid foundation for a couple of reasons. So understanding if it's going to be attached or detached to the home is a big consideration as well, because we need to dial in the mechanicals of all of this. So in addition to understanding if this is like detached or attached to the home or in the basement, in addition to the mechanicals needing to be dedicated, we also are going to want to look at water filtration. So is this wellness space going to have a separate level of water filtration, or is it going to need dedicated water filtration for drinking water? And then third, when it comes to water, is this space going to have a dedicated laundry space? And so in this first initial phase, we want to look at where is it going to be placed, how much space is going to need to be dedicated to the wellness center, and then what other components are you going to need to add in addition to that? So most of the wellness spaces that we're seeing are going to have a dedicated mechanical closet if it's completely detached from the home. So if you're creating a separate structure, a dedicated mechanical closet, which most of the times aren't exciting places to dedicate square footage to, but a necessity in a wellness space. So dedicated mechanical closet, you might need a dedicated space for additional water filtration. And then we really also like to see a dedicated washer, dryer, a laundry space for this wellness center, because it's not typically practical to be lugging and taking sheets and other sweaty clothes to a different part of the home. So you might need additional square footage for those additional areas, in addition to all of the other fun stuff you have inside. So then now that we've talked about some floor plan and spatial stuff, definitely stick around to the end of the episode where I'm going to be sharing my favorite tip when it comes to wellness spaces. But for now, I want to get into an important topic as it relates to the overall wellness of the space. This gets missed so often. It has to do with the lighting. Lighting somehow just becomes an afterthought. But when you're creating a wellness-focused space, lighting should be front of mind. And so what does wellness lighting look like for a space like this? Definitely circadian friendly lighting. Code is gonna require some harsh LEDs in a space, but there is a way around just the harsh blue LED requirement. There is flicker-free LEDs that also have a warmer ambient color temperature. Some even change color temperature throughout the day. Some of these LEDs let you set what you want the color temperature to be. And there's plenty of studies related to how our nervous system feels around rapid flickers and ultra blue light. So in the wellness space, and ideally throughout the entire home, but wellness space, essentially, we want to be prioritizing flicker-free LEDs that are gonna have a warmer hue, usually a lower Kelvin temperature. So where blue light is somewhere in the 3,000 or 5,000 Kelvin temperature, very blue, we wanna get it down to like a 1,600, a very warm amber color, to make sure that your wellness experience is not flaring your entire nervous system. So circadian lighting would be a big focus. Even better if you can have a dedicated red light therapy room. That's going to be a wonderful dedicated space for that. So moving down from lighting, we want to talk about what safeguards can be put in place so that this wellness space does not end up being a mold farm and leading to a toxic space. And the truth is that wellness centers are so primed to actually be toxic. Between a steam room, a sauna, and a cold plunge, you've got a lot of humidity and potential water damage to deal with. So when it comes to the cold plunge, best tip there is going to be a floor drain, like an emergency drain for the cold plunge. Many a times, cold plunges overflow. They're either filled up too much and then you get in it and water's overflowing. Totally fine if that's outside. But if you're creating a wellness center inside a nice, beautiful, finished space, you want to make sure that any incidental water is not going to be ruining your beautiful finishes, but rather go down an overflow type of drain. We'll often see these adjacent to the cold plunge, and we get really creative with the interior design team on how we can conceal these linear drains so that there's no concern about an overflowing cold plunge. And also, when you get out of a cold plunge, you're not dry like you are when you're getting out of a shower. You might have shorts on or a bathing suit, and you're getting out soaking wet. So there's no in between. And so really having a space for any of that excess water to drain away from helps keep things and finishes really dry. The other topic related to the cold plunge, not only just incidental water, is what is the water that you're actually bathing in? Well, not really bathing, but what is the water that you're sitting in for a period of time? Is there water filtration to supply the cold plunge with filtered clean water? Or are you planning to just use municipal or well water for the cold plunge? So that's why we like to see a dedicated water filtration if it's going to be drinking water, or if it could be fed from like the whole home water filtration, so that again, your cold plunge has filtered water. And there's a lot of fun things that can be added, like ozone treatments and reducing chlorine and just getting the optimal level of water quality to the cold plunge, or even if you're doing a shower, steam shower, whatever water is touching your skin or that you're drinking in this wellness space, you want to make sure it's of the best quality. And before we get into the next one, be sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all of our latest episodes. So now when it comes to steam showers and saunas, these are two really problematic areas. Really, in a wellness space, or just even if this was a part of your home. The reason being is that they are creating so much humidity, far more than what any other space in your home would ever see. A steam shower is often not constructed correctly. leading to mold growth behind the walls because it's not built like a traditional waterproof shower. You have to really contain air, vapor, humidity, water. It is like a triple whammy because it's not just water that you're dealing with. You are also dealing with steam, and that steam has to go somewhere. So like a traditional shower would have shower glass that is a bit short and it's not containing steam. It's actually releasing and the exhaust fan is pulling out that excess humidity. Where in a steam shower, you are containing humidity to that space and then it's going to dissipate. So making sure that there's proper control layers so that the steam within the shower is not being pushed throughout the surrounding walls, but also there's going to need to be a pretty significant bump in the mechanical design to handle all of this humidity and how it's being extracted and how this steam shower is actually drying after each use, because you don't want water droplets just hanging around, which is going to further exacerbate just the humidity load in this space. So rule of thumb is contain the humidity and then get it out really quickly and dry the space really fast because we want to get everything back to dry. And so the mechanical piece is really important to that. And same thing when it comes to saunas. Saunas, even if it's going to be a contained unit, you're going to need to really prioritize the mechanical system here to handle all of this humidity load and be able to, we'll often refer to it as like boost. So there can be an option to really boost the exhaust and help accelerate the drying of these high humid spaces. And then next is going to be related to the gym. I've talked about this before, but proceed with caution when you are dealing with rubber mats or rubber flooring in a gym. It's highly prone to act like a vapor barrier, trap moisture beneath it. If there are any spills that are getting to the underside of it, it's going to trap moisture. Rubber mats are going to act as a vapor barrier, and there is a healthy and a smart way to install them. They're just not often done in a healthy way, and they're often using like recycled rubber material, which is not going to work well in a wellness center. And then the decision that's going to really pull this whole wellness space together that is overlooked a fair majority of the time is going to have to do with air filtration. So this wellness space often becomes a bit of an afterthought or just thought as another space, maybe attached to the home or separate structure. And I often see the mechanical piece really lacking to understand what's needed in a wellness space. Sure, it needs to handle the humidity and it needs to be able to provide cool air in the space, but I either see it handled by a mini split design, which mini splits are notorious for mold growth. Just do not put a mini split if you can prevent it, but they're going to be needed if the architectural plans didn't actually account for a full mechanical design. So avoid a mini split, but in addition to just being able to cool and manage the humidity in the space, there should absolutely be HEPA filtration feeding the air into this wellness center. The air that you should be breathing in this space and the rest of your home should be ultra filtered. So clean water. And then you need great lighting that's not going to be throwing off your circadian system. But then also the air that you are breathing in this space should be of the best quality and also be able to handle high loads. So you've probably been in a home in the past where it's been really hot in one area or really cool in another area. And so the mechanical designs that we like to work with in wellness spaces are able to really handle high loads. So if you're in there working out, maybe there's a couple of you using the space, you're going to want to be able to have a system that can really cool down quickly and also handle the humidity. So my favorite thing about dialing in wellness rooms is just hitting it out of the park when it comes to the mechanicals, indoor air quality within the space, and overall just filtration and handling the excess humidity. Because the wellness room should be a space that is constantly handling humidity and temperature and not just left with stagnant, recirculating air within the space. So wellness rooms can be done in an incredible way. I wish I saw more of them done properly instead of just using more greenwashing materials or just thinking that it's a healthy space because it's titled wellness. There is a way to have a luxury wellness space that's not going to contribute to mold down the road or negative indoor air quality or just not be a space that you want to go into. So I've seen a lot of bad wellness center designs. We've been involved in a lot of just great overall wellness spaces. And if you are wanting help in how you can design, plan, or even build just a killer wellness space, there's a link below where you can share with me about your project, and then we can see how we can work together one-on-one so that we can just dial in this space for you. And if you enjoyed this podcast and you want to hear more just like it, I release podcast episodes every week, so be sure to like and subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next one.